I'm Jim Masters, your host for something very special. Usually around this time of the year here at BCTV, we come to you with a special program which celebrates and honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and a very special breakfast that happens right here in Branford, Connecticut that we're going to tell you about. We have some very special guests joining us in just a second. Of course, we are honoring the legacy and the life of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the Heritage Foundation's fabulous breakfast. This is something that everybody talks about in town. And let me tell you, the pancakes are fantastic. It's coming up on Monday, January 19th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. at Branford High School, which, of course, is at 185 East Main Street in Branford. And some of the folks that we have joining us here who are very deeply involved in this beautiful foundation and celebrating and honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s heritage and legacy are Margot Hardenberg. She is a board member. Good to see you once again, Margot. How are you?
Thank you, Jim. I'm very good, thanks.
Longtime friends.
Yes, exactly.
We even went to a function at Stony Creek, didn't
Yes,
we? A
right.
parade, and we walked the streets.
Yes, right.
And then we had dinner. It was terrific. And Jane Beeman is here, board member as well. Jane, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And I love your festive turtleneck. Very, very nice.
Yes.
You know, this is really a wonderful presentation that's happening. And there's a guest speaker that's going to be joining everybody who's renowned. Preston Tisdale is a civil rights attorney. And he's going to be there as well. And moderator this year is Keith Kuntz from WTNH Channel 8 in New Haven. And there is a theme to the event this year. It is Now is the Time to Take a Stand. And that is so true. Just want to tell you right off at the top, and we'll mention this throughout the broadcast, tickets are $20 each. Very, very economical. And children 5 to 12, $5. And you can go to mlkheritage.org, that's O-R-G, to get the tickets. And if you'd like to sponsor, well, there's the opportunity for that as well. You can call 203-936-7157. I have all those numbers on the screen for you as well. And it's going to be an incredible morning of food and community, conversation, and all kinds of wonderful ways that people get together to celebrate, again, the life's work of somebody very prominent and somebody revered in America, if not around the world, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Margot, again, this is really another wonderful year that's coming up, celebrating this incredible individual in history and in our lives. Tell us about the importance of supporting an event like this.
I think mainly it's as we say, community event. It's a way for everybody to get together and honor and think about what Martin Luther King was interested in and what he was standing for and what he was encouraging, and how, in fact, not only the civil rights, but he got involved as time progressed to, in fact, include all people, particularly poor people. Some people called it, when he started in about 1967, just before his killing, the Poor People's Campaign, or another name for it, and I can't remember it right off the bat, but he was thinking that it's all people who are poor and left out. And Reverend Abernathy carried on his work and had a Poor People's March on Washington in 1968, in the spring of 68. So not only was Martin Luther King winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, et cetera, and gave so many wonderful speeches and talks, and the writings are now available in his books. It's nice to know that it's being carried on. And so we do want to think about all he was working for, especially in these days. And it seems as if every year we're saying, and especially this year. Mm-hmm. Right?
You've been involved with it for a long time. When did you first get involved?
Well, I can tell you. So this will be not as long as she has, but this will be my 26th year, right? And I can remember I was so excited. I finally had the time. You know, I didn't have to get to work on Monday morning bright and early. And I could, all right, I'm going to go. And what I loved to hear, I mean, I loved meeting with everybody gathering, but to hear a really good speech. I really love
Yeah.
hearing really good talks. And then getting up and singing with everybody, lift every voice. I mean, that was always it is remarkably wonderful. But the breakfast is good.
The breakfast is very good. And, you don't leave hungry, that's for sure.
No,
at
you don't.
all, and the community comes together to prepare that breakfast as well,
Yes.
which I think is fantastic,
Yeah, it's all volunteer, right?
It's all volunteers, and, sometimes there's not a dry eye in the house, too, with some of the speeches.
Right.
And it really is a fantastic way if you're always looking for ways to bring people together. We're always saying, gee, I wish there were events that bring people together. This is one of those key events that happens nationwide, but also right here in Branford, Connecticut, bringing people together, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really the students, for example, from the culinary arts program make the breakfast with the help of oftentimes the Rotary Club and other groups that are there to help serve. And the music makers from the high school, they will perform probably 2-3 songs. Other choral groups perform. This year, what's new is we're having a winner of a poetry contest.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
So
right.
that's fabulous.
Right.
So, yeah, it's very exciting. And I think actually everybody enjoys getting together. Last year, for example, we had people from Essex come and people from further west come.
neighboring
so it's very
towns.
wide. And I was very glad to be able to come together.
Wow, that's fantastic. Just want to mention, too, that the special guest speaker is Preston Tisdale. A little bit about his incredible background. Longtime public defender and president of the Public Justice Foundation, Mr. Tisdale has dedicated his life to standing up to injustice. He's a partner at Koskoff and Biter, and he has fought in the courts against bias and discrimination and oppression, and has served on the boards of multiple civic organizations that aid the less fortunate, including the Fairfield County Community Foundation and the Bridgeport Public Education Fund. And he will be the speaker at this event. And again, this is coming up Monday, January 19th, 2026, 8:30 a.m. at the Branford High School. Jane, as Margot said, you've been with it a long time yourself. When did you first start to participate?
Well, I've always been a part of it because I belong to St. Stephen's AME Zion Church in Branford, where the breakfast began, which was in 1985. Colin Rouse and the late Louis Burns would make breakfast every third Sunday. So after Dr. King died, they decided to make the breakfast more meaningful and started having the MLK breakfast and open it up to the community, which the breakfast was open up to the community anyhow. They just wanted to make it special, give it a meaning by celebrating him and other civil rights leaders.
What do you think it's so important that we do take time in this way to bring the community together, to have this wonderful breakfast, to have these guest speakers that appear that just want to be a part of this every year? Why do you think it's so vitally important that Dr. King's message is not forgotten?
People just have to listen. They have to open their heart and their mind and listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's really true. Listen and then maybe apply it to their own lives too, right?
Yes.
From your experience, do you have any fond memories of the breakfasts, maybe special moments that you recall, people you've met, what the atmosphere is like during the course of this special breakfast?
Not really.
So many.
Only because I've just been going to the church for so long, and
Yeah.
it was just a normal thing.
Right.
And yes, it is special. Just being, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Fellowship.
Yes,
Yes.
right.
That's right.
Right, because when you come to this breakfast, you will see all genders, all backgrounds, races, religions. It brings everybody together. It's open to and welcoming to everybody, right, Margaret?
Yes, exactly. Right. All ages. And there aren't many activities here. It is fascinating, right? The day is off. Everybody has the day off. and although some people still go to work. So I'm actually struck by there aren't as many young people coming. And I find that too bad. I mean, that's why we're very happy to have it at the high school, because it means the kitchen people, they're all from the high school. The music makers are from the high school. And then there's some volunteers. There are some volunteers, young volunteers. So it's very nice to try to include all generations, but we're really, really working hard on getting young people to participate more.
And from your perspective too, Margot, why do you think it is so important that we take this time and pause and have this breakfast and this remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King
I
Jr.?
think it's very rewarding to see other people enjoying hearing about Reverend King or some aspect about how we could be serving his wishes now, and to have all other people be doing it with us. It's very nice. It's wonderful. You know, you go stand in line to get your grits, or maybe you really want that sausage or the scrambled eggs, etc. But what happens is you get to meet new people and find out what they're doing. How are they celebrating Dr. King and what he's doing otherwise? So it's very, very pleasant.
And also at the high school too, because it's grown over time, right?
Oh my goodness.
Space-wise, because I
Right?
remember one of the churches where it was at as well, and we were there, and it was packed. So the high
Yes.
school has
Yes.
the ability to, cater to the large
Very-
crowds
yes,
that come.
exactly.
And plenty of parking and
During COVID, we did it online. And that was interesting because I could have my friends who were from great distance, and they really enjoyed that. But now you get your friends from the region, and that's very rewarding. And other people you get to meet, and why don't you see them more often and you learn what they're doing? There are other groups who are celebrating Dr. King. How are they doing it? That's very rewarding for us. Now I got about, yep.
That's true.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
it is very rewarding, and you'll find it rewarding too when you come. If you might be somebody who's watching who comes every single year and you can't wait and you look forward to it, or somebody who's going to be joining for the very first time this wonderful event. Whatever the case may be, you're always welcome because it's something very, very special. And this year, the theme to it is "Now is the time to take a stand." Tell us about that, Jane.
Well, actually, Ray Anderson and Mr. Tisdale came up with this. Well, I really don't know the thinking behind that. But I guess in this day and age, in the climate that we're in, it's probably why they chose that topic.
They don't want people to step back and just watch or step back, because you learn about how people are worrying about their health care or the price of food or this or that. And it seems as if things are nationally not working out. It seems as if they're working against trying to solve those problems. It seems. I'm not sure that that's the case. I'm not sure. I don't know. But now is the time to not step back, step forward and see what it is. I was fascinated that, we don't hear much about Dr. King beyond his interest in civil rights. But he won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right, yeah.
He was very interested in peace. And then the idea that he started on the Poor People's Campaign.
Right.
And he was considering not just Black people. We have all the poor, that we ought to be concerned about. It reminded me, I have to share with you, I had a friend who is a documentary filmmaker. And he had done a film about the Vietnam War. Greg Shooker is his name. Was his name. And then he kept on making films. He worked for Time Life. He worked for PBS. And when he heard about what Dr. King was doing in 1967, he went down to film. And he was covering Dr. King. And as he was covering him, I'm sorry to say, he was assassinated. So he had to change his film to The Last Days. And it is very touching for me. He actually didn't, he had to narrate it himself. He had to put it all together himself. It must have been very moving and hard for him to do. And I'm sorry we can't, did get to see it once, but PBS, the rights to it seem to be a little confusing, so it's not accessible. But it's interesting to see how, it was serious work that Dr. King was working on.
Absolutely. And you hear it referenced all the time,
Yes.
By so many people. It really was important work and continues to be, right, Jane?
Yes, it is.
What are some of the things that you think people can learn from Dr. King?
Well,
And what have you learned?
let me get my thought together here.
Right.
I know I'm not a speaker. I've learned over the years that it takes hard work and dedication to accomplish many things, and he was a hard worker, and he saw the injustice, and you can't just sit by idle. So if you want something done, you have to work hard and just get it done.
And he stood for, civil rights, for equality,
peace.
for everybody
Yes.
coming to the table,
Mm-hmm.
everybody getting a
Equal
slice of the
opportunity.
pie. Right, exactly. Which is of great importance, no matter what the day is or what the time is or who is in charge, who isn't in charge or any of that. It's this idea that we're all here for a reason and we all need each other.
Yeah.
We all have, it's like a puzzle and we're all pieces of the puzzle, and each puzzle piece is as important as the other puzzle piece, which is part of the idea of the spirit of what Dr. King, one of the many things Dr. King left us with. And he did leave us with a lot. He's one of those figures that in culture and in history that still fascinates people. People
Right.
are fascinated by him. What more could he have done and said beyond the day when he was taken away? All the promise of the things that he could have accomplished and shared with all of us, that now it's up to the rest of us to
Right.
take and make reality, right?
Yes. Yeah, he did try to work with others and got other people, and I've seen some programs about how he had to compromise and to be able to work together. But he worked hard himself, learning, going to learn from Gandhi, going to other places. He really did. I don't know how he did so much in such a short life, actually. And he had the support of his wife. She was
yeah.
wonderfully supportive, it seems,
Coretta Scott King, right?
Yes. And perhaps even more than support, I think she sometimes balanced him and sort of made him realize how he would have to take a stand or not take a stand, step back. And must have been a wonderful bounce aboard for him to go,
Right.
It's sort of fascinating. I mean, that's my understanding, but I don't know what you have.
I don't know.
Right.
How long, you've been with it a long time, Jane, how long does it take to put it together each year, this whole...
The breakfast.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that
me
process like
growing
behind the
up-
scenes?
Me growing up in the church, that was, Mr. Burns and Mr. Rouse, is had their breakfast. They got the food. They did everything. It was just a matter of the church getting a speaker to speak that day. The late Reverend Cofield was one of our speakers as well, as many were. So we knew it was coming. We knew we had it. You just got the word out. You came. You had your service and your music and your food.
Yeah, right. It was always good food.
Yeah.
And I do remember, for example, the first breakfast I went to, and the one person I sat next to, or I made a point of going to sit next to, or something like that. And she said, "Well, I live right across the way, and I always go to their breakfast, and it was the third Sunday." And it was so fun to hear about that.
Tell us about the Heritage Foundation, the work of the foundation itself, which is very essential and a part of this.
Well, we have a scholarship for the Branford High School students, which they benefit from this breakfast. We also have a dinner every other month, Meals for the Mind, where we invite people from the community, different backgrounds, different race, different opinions, and we come together and we discuss whatever topic that they want to discuss. It's open, and we get to know each other, and we share that meal. It's like sitting down with someone and sharing a meal. You're going to talk. Yeah. You're not just going to sit there and stare at each other.
And you're not going to hold back. Oftentimes at family meals, you might hold back because your uncle is that party and you're this party.
Right.
But that doesn't happen at these Meals for the Mind.
Right. So we recently just had one, and there was a deacon from another church that happened to be there, Vic. And he just took the room. That was his gift of gab. He just drew the whole room.
Very
he
charismatic.
Drew the conversation, and everybody was involved. I myself just sit there and looked in awe. It's like, wow. And this is what the Meals for the Mind is, to have conversations, difficult conversations. There was one woman that was there who was really upset with the community, not just the community, the nation as a whole, feeling bad about our African American men being shot down in the streets and things like that. So she was it was a place for her to express herself without judgment. And you can see that it's not just her, it's everybody that it affects. So this is what Meals for the Mind is.
Yes.
Those conversations that are not had.
Yeah. Right. We had one where there was a young. We don't all participate because we want to make sure the community is participating. And at the one I got to go to was a variety of ages, and I mean a variety of ages, from 20 to 80. And it was wonderful to hear them all listen to each other. Yeah. And the 20-year-old was talking about, this diversity, education, et cetera. Is that the term that we mean to use, in employment? What are they trying to...
which they got rid of.
Yes, which they got rid of. And so we were having a serious conversation. Is that something that was needed to be changed or adapted, and et cetera? It was good.
So the foundation does this work throughout the year. The breakfast is then, but the work continues throughout the year, which is great for people to realize, right?
And then we have February. The whole month of February, we have to, once a week, we try to do an event that's open to the public. This year, actually, I have, what do I have listed? One is the history of gospel music in the Black church. That will be taking place, I think, in the community house during a day in February. We have usually some books are being discussed or chapters. And we will have a reunion of people from Meals for the Mind so they can all gather together of having had their various experiences. So that should be really interesting. So it's nice.
And we're also involved. We also participate at the Branford Festival each year.
Yes.
Yes, we do. So you can find us in our little booth.
Right.
Get
The booth there,
educated.
right? And
Right. Yes.
exactly, which I think is fantastic. It's again, it shows you the power of community and bringing people together. Just wanted to tell you the specifics again. You'll see them on the screen for what we're talking about, which is a great breakfast. It is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Heritage Foundation's 41st breakfast. Again, this is the 41st year, which is amazing. Monday, January 19th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m., Branford High School, 185 East Main Street. And the guest speaker is Preston Tisdale, civil rights attorney. And the theme this year is Now is the Time to Take a Stand. Moderator, Keith Kuntz from WTNH Channel 8. The tickets are $20 each. Children 5 through 12, only $5. And if you'd like to get tickets, you can see on the screen. You can go online to mlkheritage.org. That's mlkheritage.org. Also, sponsorship opportunities available. To learn more, you can go to this phone number, 203-936-7157. That's 203-936-7157. Or you can shoot an email to mlkheritage, the number 5. That's mlkheritage, the number 5 at gmail.com. And again, it's going to be an incredible morning of food and community fellowship, highlighted again by renowned civil rights attorney Preston Tisdale, again, whose theme is Now is the Time to Take a Stand. And, you know, it is about discussions and food coming together. And having been to the breakfast, I can tell you that you not only meet so many wonderful people, but you meet people who are truly passionate about community, passionate about equality, passionate about life. And you will leave not only full in your stomach, but also full in your heart and in your mind when you go to these kinds of things like this very special breakfast. Again, and it's because of the fact that they work so hard all year long to put this together and to welcome you. And again, the scholarship as well is another incredible thing. Tell us more about the scholarship. Some people might not realize that that scholarship even happens.
Yes, the scholarship. It's a significant amount of money that you could use for books or something to that effect. But what we try to do is offer the scholarship to a graduating senior from Branford High, usually, and they are able to use it towards higher education or vocational. In other words, a continuing program. It could be for a vocational. And then what we try to do, if the recipient, keeps in touch, they can have they'll automatically get it, the continuing until they graduate. In other words, for 4 years or 3 years or whatever. But they have to keep in touch. And that's why it's very important to understand our mailbox is 3335 Branford, Connecticut, MLK Heritage. You know, the postmaster says, I don't care about the title, but I just want the number. So it's Post Office Box 3335, Branford 06405. So that's really important. I mean, I don't think many scholarships have that built in that we try to give it every year because we're trying to encourage you, the student, to finish up and give support. And sometimes it helps to have to write that on, to be able to write that on your resume.
Right, exactly.
You know? So, yes.
What are some other things you want to leave people with in terms of what they can expect when they come to the MLK breakfast?
A good time.
A good time.
Yes, a very good time. That's right. But it also is very good food. And it's a really good time. And you get to meet people. What I've enjoyed, perhaps you also, is seeing my friends. But I particularly like to sit next to or stand in line to somebody I haven't met. Last time the people came from all the way to Essex. How did you come from Essex? Or, they come from a whole nother walk of life that I've never seen that they were interested. My brother-in-law comes. I had no idea that he was interested in Martin Luther King. Or is he just a community-spirited somebody? No, I think it's both. I think it's the idea. And listening to wonderful music and always a good speech. There's always a very good talk.
A good takeaway.
Yes, a good takeaway. That's what it is. Right?
A good takeaway, exactly.
Right.
Lots to take away. Again, we want to remind everybody of the specifics. It is something very, very special, and you see it on the screen. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Heritage Foundation 41st Breakfast, Monday, January 19th, 2026, 8:30 a.m., Branford High School, 185 East Main Street. It's going to be fantastic. And again, the guest speaker is Preston Tisdale, renowned civil rights attorney. The theme is Now is the Time to Take a Stand. Moderator, Keith Kuntz. And again, if you would like to get tickets, they're only $20 for adults. Children, 5 through 12, $5. You can go to mlkheritage.org. That's O-R-G. And that's mlkheritage.org. Sponsorships available too by going to 203-936-7157 or MLK Heritage, the number 5. That's MLK Heritage, the number 5 at gmail.com. It's going to be wonderful.
I'd just like to underline that the sponsorships can also be given online. In other words, when you purchase your ticket, you can also say, and I'd like to not only sponsor the cost of the service that we're using, but you can give more, definitely. And if we receive it soon enough, we'll be able to, and be very pleased to put it in the program. We have certain levels of sponsorship. So I wanted to make that clear.
So again, if you want to learn more, go to 203-936-7157 or MLK Heritage, the number 5 at gmail.com. Also grateful to have partnered with Branford Public Schools as well, too, for hosting what has become a joyful and amazing Branford tradition, the school system opening up their doors to it as well, right?
Right, exactly.
Which is so important.
Right.
This has been terrific. Hope you learned something new, and you're going to join us at this breakfast, which is going to be something very, very special. Jane, a real pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all the years of hard work put in throughout the year, and your gift of your talent and your spirit, and Margot, of course, as well, who's been in the thick of it, through it all. And
she's been in the
it
thick
takes.
of it too.
She passes it off to you, Margot. She's so humble,
Right.
but she's a doer.
Right.
That's Jane.
Right.
And always a pleasure seeing you, and thank you for all of your efforts as well, and your love and spirit, and everything that you do to make this happen as well. It's always a pleasure to see you, Margot.
Thank you, and Jim. Thank you very much for coming down to host this. We appreciate it.
All mine. The pleasure is
Yes.
all mine. And thank you for joining us as well. I'm your host, Jim Masters. And again, come see us again at the MLK Breakfast. It's going to be fantastic. The 41st. It's so hard to believe. We thank everybody here at BCTV,
Yes.
here coming to you from the beautiful podcast studio at BCTV. It's really nice. For all of us, Jim Masters here. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on January 19th, 2026, Branford High School at the 41st Annual MLK Breakfast. It's going to be a pleasure. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Be well, and happy holidays.